I'm Therese Winnington with T. Lewis Real Estate and Design, and I'm here to give you a few pointers on some management things that typically happen in our rental properties that can easily be solved yourself. Here we go. A lot of times we'll get a call from a tenant saying that the toilet is running. Sometimes there's a deeper issue, but in the interim, to save on costs so that the water is not constantly running and you're not paying a high utility bill, it's very easy to do by yourself. Either turn on or off, and then it'll stop the running water. Another issue that we actually get calls for too is that the chain has come unattached. There is a clasp here on the chain that can easily reassemble it or disassemble it, and that's another thing that can simply be done as well. Lastly, in the bathroom, I've gotten calls before that the hot water is not working. Just like a toilet on a sink, you have an on and off switch both for cold and hot water. So turn and make sure that both are on. Another call that we'll get a lot is that in a bathroom or kitchen, appliances aren't working, or like a hair dryer is not working. Usually it is the GFCI. In older houses you won't find these, but these are pretty common nowadays. All you gotta do is press the switch and press it again, and it should pop itself back on. Another call that we get very often is that there's mold on the ceiling in the shower or the bathroom. That can easily be solved by using your exhaust fan. There are also cleaning products and other products out there that can eradicate that issue as well, but make sure to put your fan on when you're in the steamy shower.
We often get calls or maintenance orders, hear that? About smoke detectors. Anytime you hear your smoke detector chirping like that, it usually means there's not a sustainable charge. Yes, it can be an electrical issue, but more often than not, you need to change your battery, which you can do on the front panel of your smoke detector.
We also get a lot of calls about thermostats. Sometimes systems will freeze up. When it does freeze up, you actually want to make sure that your system is set to fan so that it'll dethaw. Another issue that'll cause issues with thermostats, some will have an equivalent that'll lock them up automatically if the filters are not changed, so regularly change your filters. Another thing is during the winter, sometimes the system will not be working correctly, so we need to make sure there's heat, so you're going to want to switch it to a mode called emergency heat. Here's an example on the thermostat. You're going to go to mode, and we just turn emergency heat off in the system, so now heat is on. Also, for when you're running it on fan, it is another mode. And then we can also go to menu and select things. Also, another thing I want to point out on here is the battery. Yes, there are batteries. Take a look at this. Make sure you change the batteries and check that at least 2 or 3 times a year. Some other kinds of calls that we'll get to are clogged sinks and garbage disposals that are locked up. There's actually a special key that all of our units have that will turn the garbage disposal over so they'll continue to grind. Also, sometimes the simple use of Drano for not only sinks in the kitchen, but also your drain that is in your shower or your tub because it's clogged up with hair. Some simple Drano can help. Make sure that you do run water after that. And another thing that we do come across is in a sink. Watch how much stuff you have down here, because these simple plumbing pipes, if you're banging them constantly, they will come loose. Your water shutoffs are also under here, as you can see. So if it is flooding, you can simply shut it off. I almost can't believe this is on here, but yes, we do get calls for how do you change a light bulb, believe it or not. So simply untwist the bulb, take your new bulb, see the filament is broken, it's no longer gonna work, this one's intact, and simply go ahead and screw the bulb in. And you're back in business. Yeah. We get a lot of calls about power not working or a breaker being switched. It's a very simple fix. On older homes, sometimes the breaker panel will be outside. Codes didn't change that to further down the line. So this is an older house built in the 30s. So the main breaker is actually on the exterior right here. So what you'll want to do is switch this back and forth to check the power and make sure it's not a major issue. Also, sometimes on your smaller panel box, one of the switches will be over this way and it really needs to be this way. So if it's the only one that's that way, go ahead and switch it back and it should charge itself. Another maintenance issues that we get a lot is cracked glass top stoves. With glass top stoves, you have to be very careful not to use cast iron pots. It's very important. It'll crack the glass, and therefore the stove will need to be replaced. And you don't want that coming out of your security deposit. So do not use those type of pots. And another issue that we do have, just to know about, is with the ones with the rings that are not a glass top, using tin foil can actually cause a lot of issues to the stove as well. So be very careful not to cook on top of tin foil. Even though it might save cleaning time, it causes other damage to the stove. Another call that we get a lot is in regards to filters. We will go into properties sometimes and take out the filter and it's clear it has never been changed, and boy is it gross. So these can be bought at Home Depot. You can cut these to size. You can also wash these, so very cost effective, environmentally friendly. And basically all you're gonna do, especially for a floor filter, most of these are in the wall nowadays, is you're gonna pop the filter in. And you can cut it to size, like I said. It's not perfect, it just needs to be in there. And pop the lid back on. Boom. So this component basically applies to our Davidson County residents. There's environmental court through codes here, and in most leases, the tenant is responsible. So I wanted to talk about some things codes looks for, not to do, and things to do. Code's big things are tires, cars with tires on grass, not on gravel or a hard surface, gutters, open storage, which can be anything from bikes or an extensive collection of something sitting out on your front lawn. So basically keep it wrapped up, keep it in a storage shed, and on your grass, cut it regularly, because anything above yay is going to get a fine. Another important thing to know is where your main water shutoff is. It's normally either in your laundry room or near your water heater. It has a red handle you can pull up and down to turn the water off. If ever a pipe bursts or anything like this, you want to do this immediately. Some older properties do not have one, unfortunately, and you will need a water key to turn it off at the street. If that is the case, call your landlord immediately or the water company.